And we're back for the final segment of today's topic. So, yeah, we not finna sit here and act like there's like men and women are equal. Like that's not true. Like it so much so. I give you like simple examples of men and women not being equal. A woman lives in a house by herself. She may be accosted by her neighbors regularly, disrespected regularly. Like this is a common thing. Cat calls, all types of other shit. I live in her house with her. Those things don't happen because we're not equal. Because men understand that there's a low level threat of violence if you disrespect me or mine. And they don't understand that in regards to women. They will be disrespectful. That fact alone, that it just changes the nature of the conversation. And when modern women think they're going to dictate and think that we are equal in any way, shape, or form, they are attempting to strip men of that. And that's not going to happen. You can complain as much as you want, but the reality of the situation is we live in a world. This is the world that we live in. We need to learn how to navigate the world we live in. None of us live in
but
an ideal.
me thinking I'm equal is not emasculating you at all, though. You're emasculating
No.
yourself
Listen.
just because I said that.
Not. Listen. Wait. Just so you know, not me. I'm talking about men in general. There's nothing you could ever tell me that would emasculate me. That's weird as hell. That's not my point. My point is when you're talking about most women talking to a man. So if say you make more money than me, we live in the house together. We got kids. I stay home. I make sure all of the kids is properly raised, the whole shebang. And then you decide that you think you're gonna pull your weight around because you make more money. You lost your rabbit ass mind because money don't define you, just like money don't define me as a man.
That I agree with.
This is where you get into the nuances of right. That's where you get into the nuances of the conversation. Because when you start talking about what women do and what men do and the gender roles, people always want to put the gender roles on the provider in the sense of providing financial, like finance. Like, no, that's not the case. I provide a blanket of protection. I provide teaching, understanding, experience, things that you simply don't come with because you're a woman. The fact that I can be in a room full of men and know their secrets and know exactly how they're going to move, I don't have a fear in the world when I'm walking in a room full of men. Most women walk in a room full of men. Y'all have to think about some other shit. That's just the fact of the matter. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think if these motherfuckers grab me and lay me across this table, there ain't shit I could do. Because everybody in the room, when I walk in the room, they take a deep breath and they don't let that shit out until I let them motherfuckers know that it's time to relax. Because I come with that. And it doesn't make a difference about money. None of those things make a difference. So we're not talking about how you function in society. We're talking about men and women being the balance. The woman is the man's balance. This is the fact. Like he is the foundation of the household. Period. We're not talking about the patriarchy. I don't give a fuck about that. That's weird. I'm talking about a man being the foundation of what is being built. A woman is there to, in the Bible, it says to be a helpmate. You're there to help. Because I can exist in the world that I exist in with zero assistance from women. Y'all cannot exist in the world we exist in with zero assistance from men.
So that makes you a modern man. If you don't need support from a woman, that makes you a modern man, not a traditional man.
No man has ever needed support from a woman. That's not true. We choose to accept it, but no man has ever needed it. Men know how to live and function within their means. And if you don't have a skill, you go learn it to make sure you're okay. That is not most women do not have the capability to do that. Not all. There are some women who could actually go out, cut down a tree, learn some shit, build a lean-to, learn how to fucking survive and eat out in the wild if they had to. There are women who could do that. There are women who could walk around, make sure ain't nobody gonna fuck with them. The first person to fuck with them, she pull out, dump on him, pistol whip, do whatever the fuck. There are women who can do that. I'm not saying no woman can pull that off. What I'm saying is, by and large, 80% of the female population don't possess that ability. Men we do not need women. We need y'all to procreate. That's it. For no other reason are women actually needed. The human race would die off if, like right now, if men and women said, fuck it, there's a clear line in the sand, we not fucking no more, y'all would die of starvation prior to us dying of starvation, and y'all would die to exposure due to the elements far before we died of exposure to the elements. The human race would just die off because no one's procreating. So we do not need women. That's not true. That is not true at all.
Okay.
Now, y'all are enjoyable. Hey, y'all are enjoyable, fun to have around. All types of great things of this nature. Great for companionship. You know, a pat on the back saying I'm doing a good job from time to time. That's what's up. But at the end of the day, if we just drew a line in the sand and gave y'all half the country and we took the other half of the country, number one, y'all would be in fear of us raiding y'all side of the country and not being able to defend it.
But it's people like you that women have to change their views, because the things you're saying, I mean, that could be hurtful to somebody. I'm not.
The things I'm saying, listen,
because those words,
the things I'm saying are simply harsh truths.
I validate myself. I don't need for you to validate me to feel good about myself, but for you to sit there and be like, we don't need women. We just need y'all to make babies.
I mean, you said need. Need is a biological imperative.
Didn't you just say you do not need women?
Listen, the biological imperative to procreate is the only reason men need women. Otherwise, the human race would die off. That is exactly what I said.
I just don't know how a traditional role as a woman and a modern role as a woman comes to what it is now. Ari?
Listen, modern women have a mentality, and traditional women had a different mentality. It has nothing to do with what folks are doing. Like, by and large, 70% of the female population has always worked. This idea that women stayed home, that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit, because none of us grew up in that fucking household. So most of us know that that's bullshit. 70% of women have always worked. That's a statement of fact. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. So if 70% of women worked, the idea that modern women stayed in the house, traditional women stayed in the house and just took care of kids is a bold-faced lie. That's not true. That's a talking point, an argument that modern women want to have to try to say, well, we don't want to do that. No, women have always worked outside the home, as a matter of fact, in every community. Poor white community, Hispanic community, Black community, we wasn't well enough off for both people to not work in the house. That's just not true. So that's a misnomer. That's one of them things like, okay, and then once you dispel that myth, understand, when you go out in the world, I'm not saying it's correct, I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying it is the way it is. Women make less money to every dollar that a man makes. And there are factors involved in that, like the choices of career field plays a large part in why that number is that.
How is that fair though?
Listen, I want you to listen. Fear is a weather condition and a place you take your girlfriend to hold her hand on the Ferris wheel. I don't give a fuck about fear because I don't make the world. I exist in the world that is created before me, and I'm not attempting to change it because it's a waste of my time. I'm attempting to navigate the world, and whoever I'm with is going to navigate that same world with me. I'm not trying to change the world. Better men have tried and failed, so I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to exist in this world and be comfortable and be happy and thrive. That is the goal. I don't have time to waste energy and brain power on trying to fix the problems that we know exist, and we know why they exist, and they haven't been fixed in 100 years. That's a waste of time. All the energy used for complaining about what's fair, what's right, what shouldn't happen. What if modern women spent that energy catering to their men and making sure that they men was good enough to go out and do the things they needed to do? Because a lot of the argument is about, feelings. That's really the truth. Like, yeah, we men have feelings too, but I mean, my feelings don't stop me from doing nothing. Like, no, fuck, I got shit to do, so it's gonna fucking happen. And that's the truth of the matter. It's not about how somebody make me feel. I still got to do what I got to do. So I'm not about fairness. Like, is it fair that the lion eats gazelles on a regular basis? Probably. It ain't fair to the gazelles at all. It's pretty fucked up, as a matter of fact. But the lion's still gonna eat. So I ain't talking about fairness. I don't care nothing about it. Miss Ari, this is your part.
I'm just, it comes back to respecting perspectives. You have your mentality about that. I don't have to fucking deal with you. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody else that would be more compatible with my ideologies. So it's not a big deal. But I do think it's, the perspectives are interesting.
So let me ask you, Ms. Ari, when you're talking about perspectives, and I'm always going to use the same analogy. We're both on a road. You're coming from the left, I'm coming from the right. We're going to meet in the middle. On your road, there's bricks and all types of obstacles that you have to get over. And on my road, there's just bodies. When we meet in the middle, does it make a difference whose perspective is being talked about, or does it make a difference that we're at the destination that we said we were going to meet at?
I know you're only going to focus on the fact that you're there, but everything that led up to that point is important, because everything that it changes how I look at things.
No. Listen, I agree with that, because all of the dead bodies that I had to walk across, yeah, like it was interesting. I said there's obstacles on both roads. There's just different obstacles. So when you're telling me about all of the hurdles and all of the rocks you had to climb over, are we going to talk about your journey to get here? Or are we going to talk about my journey to get here? Or can we just leave them both there, respect the fact that we got there from two different places, and talk about where we are now and build what the fuck we need to build? Personally, because what y'all are saying as women is y'all keep talking about we need to understand the perspective. How about women's perspective has been widely understood? There's books on it, there's movies, there's TV shows, you name it. There's been a bevy of things. The problem here is now that men are talking, everybody fucking butthurt. We've always talked to one another. We've always talked amongst ourselves. We just didn't talk to y'all. The man who went to work does not come home and complain about how horrible the boss was and how fucked up he was treated and all of the horrible shit that he had to deal with. Typically he gonna come home, he'll be frustrated. He might not be necessarily too talkative. He might not be willing to communicate the way you want him to communicate because he had a hard ass day. Women come home, they want to talk about Susie, Beth, Becky, and Sam getting on their motherfucking nerves, how the boss was looking at her ass and all types of other shit. So we both had shitty days at work. But you want to spend the time talking about your shitty day when I'm trying to build our house. Whose perspective is correct here? That's always my question. Mm-hmm. I get the perspectives. I do. Because I come from a background. You come from a background. Mook comes from a background. It's just the reality of the situation. We all understand. We all have backgrounds. But I can't sit around and judge you based on my background. So why is it acceptable for women to judge us based on y'all background? How about we focus on when we meet, is it time to build? And if I'm saying it's time to build and you saying it's time to talk about some shit, you ain't the one to build with because you too busy talking while I'm trying to build. That's what I mean when I say you're going to do what you need to do or you got to go.
Tabernacle.
Like, that's just a fact. That's a fact of the matter. We both get to work at 8 a.m. I'm already working when I get there. You want to talk for an hour to the people and complain about your night. No, fuck that. Get to fucking work. Get to fucking work. On some downtime, maybe we can go rehash that out. Cool, that's what's up. On some downtime, some free time when we both got time, that's cool. But if you're trying to build, why is the focus on where the fuck you came from? If you keep looking back, you can't see where the fuck you're going. Nobody runs a marathon looking backwards.
I get that. But I still think that knowing where you've been gives an understanding of where you are. I get that you're like, okay, fuck the past, focus on right now. I mean, get further focusing on right now. But obviously the minds of men and women are different. So
they are. So why should we talk about our minds when the goal is to build? That's my question.
It's because it's about communicating. But I'm saying if I come to you and I'm like, how are you? How was your day? How are you feeling? Are you gonna tell me to shut up and get back to work?
If you come to me and ask me that, so say I have a table, right? We're gonna say we all like to use this, what do you bring to the table reference? I have a table with 3 legs on it. I'm attempting to put the last leg on. I asked you to hold the table steady so I can fit this last leg under it. And you're like, but wait, I want to tell you about my day. Get the fuck out of here and send somebody who's going to hold my fucking table up. That's what I'm saying.
I get that, but
there's no but. Everything you say before but is canceled the moment you say but. That's English.
Right. I'm saying
we're not doing that.
Saying, but I cannot relate to what you're saying. I don't think like that.
Because you're a woman, and that's my point. That's why men lead. That's why we do that. That's why things are the way they are. Okay, there's a TV show called Bear Grylls Island. This is no bullshit. There was men and there were women put on an island based on survival. The women did not feed themselves and lost and was all suffering from severe dehydration, and the medical staff had to come save them because they were too busy talking to one another, trying to come up with a way that someone could all lead as a fucking conglomerate. The men found out who could do what, did it, and they were thriving in the environment. It is an indication of what I'm talking about. If there's something that needs to be done, that needs to be done prior to having a conversation. If we're in a car and I see a danger and I say, get down, and you choose to look around the window and say, honey, why are you telling me to get down, and you get your head shot off, whose fault is that? Because that's the argument every woman is trying to have. But I need to talk about my perspective. Where I come from, they don't shoot at me. I don't give a fuck. We're on the highway. Motherfuckers are shooting. I'm saying get the fuck down, and you talking about something, but why? Where I come from, they don't shoot on the highway. Well, that ain't where the fuck we are right now, is it? Because these motherfuckers are shooting. See, when I put my example on the table, it's a clear no-brainer. Men and women think differently. I agree with that. And I'm even conceding to the fact that once the work is done and the kingdom is built and the castle is manned, we could talk for the rest of our fucking lives. But when the castle still needs to be built and I'm carrying bricks, I don't want to hear about the conversation until the castle's built. Your perspective means little in the terms of the larger scheme of things. My perspective means little. It's not a matter of perspective when you're building something.
I guess we done talked.
Are you back, Vinny? I want Vinny to be back so I can tell him to stop being Captain Save-A-Ho.
Well, it's on here.
I guess we'll address that. Look, I guess what's today? Today's Wednesday. So we're going to address that on Freestyle Friday because all this Captain Savvy shit, wasn't feeling it. I was just being nice. I told you I was going to be nice and be on my best behavior.
Ari, this is
Vinny, when you listen back to this, you was doing too much.
If you you got it, I'm gonna just let me know when you're ready for.
No, yeah, Ari, close us out. Well, no, you don't have to close it. You don't have to
close us out.
Your
just
final,
let me know
your final thoughts on the actual topic. All you women out there, before Ari says anything, I hope y'all learned something today. Every woman who ever comes across this pod, I hope y'all learned something. I don't care if you dislike me, I hope you learned something. Because if what I said hurt your feelings, but you successfully stay married to the man that you chose for 60 fucking years, when on your deathbed, when you're floating away from your body, say thank you, asshole, and float the fuck away.
You got it, Ari.
I think the toxic modern woman perspective comes from being hurt. Women need to heal and stop taking it out on men. Let them lead. Listen, learn, work with them, not against them.
All right. Well, this has been an interesting No Filter podcast. I'm gonna go around. Any final thoughts, Benny? Just want to throw it out there just in case. All right. Leela, you got anything you want to say closing out?
No, it was a good talk.
Ari said her piece. D, you got anything wait.
Nope.
Go ahead, D. You got anything you want to end with?
As usual, if you piss laying down, you'll be covered in piss and wet.
Candace Patton, I ain't forgot about you, baby. I'm still here. Don't worry about it. Again, this has been the No Filter podcast. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Make sure you go to the pages. Make sure you like, follow if you're not already following, and subscribe. I know that's the same thing, but it's two different platforms, so shut up. Don't come for me. All right, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Because there's two different things. I need both of them.
No, bro, you don't gotta explain. I already know what you're talking about.
It's gotta happen. Yeah, if y'all got any questions, y'all want to comment, make sure you comment on the video, or you can send it to us directly at the No Filter Podcast 2022@gmail.com. We'd like to thank our special guest, Leela, for coming out. Thank you for coming out, sharing your perspective.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Come back, play with us.
Thank you guys for letting me intervene here, or not intervene, but interject.
You're right. Back. You in the ring. it's definitely a ring.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. You just let us know when you want to come back. You're more than welcome on any other topics any day, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Thanks. All right. If anybody got nothing else, we are out of here.